Maybe you're like me. If you are, I apologize for you having to be this way, but maybe every once in a while, you're looking at your decisions, how you decide to protect your wealth. And if you're like me, maybe you've put some money into silver, let's say. And we need to talk today about what I think are three foundational reasons. There are three big reasons why we can feel good about our decision to put money into silver, to protect our wealth with silver. Let's start with number one. Number one foundation, why silver is a smart place to put money. And what we're talking about here is this asymmetric risk profile presented by the metals. Okay, asymmetric risk is just a fancy way of saying you have an opportunity to make a lot more profit than you do potential losses. Many of us think, I don't know how you feel about this, but that we could see, let's say in current dollar value, 60, 75, 85, 100, who knows, maybe even $400 silver. Oh, thank you, Shadow Work. Wow, for the super chat. Thank you, Shadow Work. We believe we could see $400, $85, $65 silver. Even, let's just be real simple, a double from roughly where we are now, $50 silver. Look at what uranium has done over the last couple years, right? I think it's trading near like $80, $90. It was 20, 30 not so long ago. Look at what Bitcoin did. I mean, Bitcoin's gone from $10 to 50,000. It's gone from 17 to almost 50 just in the last year and a half. There's no reason why silver can't do that. Actually, the reasons why silver could do that are much more fundamentally sound than almost any other asset on the face of the earth. But it's an asymmetric risk, and that's a good thing for me, right? I'm talking about me, but I know you're like me. I'm a basement dweller. I'm no more important than you are, right? Your reasons are just as important as mine, but we share that asymmetric risk profile with silver, meaning, yeah, sure, silver could double from here in real dollar terms, right? It could go current value of the dollar. It could easily be $50 per ounce. But what are the odds of silver going down by 50%, going down to 10, 11, $12 per ounce? Very slim. And at that point, we're talking about the possibility of losing 50% of our money, which would be horrible, which would be, none of us would sell. People would be buying silver like no tomorrow. But worst, let's not even say worst case, almost impossible case scenario that silver could go down by $5 or $10 per ounce. But the upside potential is multiples, right? What if silver does go to $100 an ounce, or when it goes to $100 an ounce? The opportunity, it's not an equal. That's what asymmetric means. The amount that we can lose, the worst case scenario, is far outweighed by the potential gain, okay? Now, what are these three fundamental factors that I got so excited about that I had to jump on here and do a snap live stream with you tonight? Thank you in advance for pressing the thumbs up. Yes, it looks like my ugly thumb, and it's right down there somewhere. So please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing to Ron's Basement is free. I will put out a piece of content every day for the rest of my life, either a live stream or a recorded video. As long as I'm alive, I'll keep doing it. You got a friend for life, and you can make friends. These basement dwellers here are wonderful. There's 100 people here right now. If you subscribe to the channel, you can comment. We want to hear from you. Maybe you don't agree with me, right? I don't think you can argue this asymmetric risk profile. I'll take on the boys from Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, any of them. Come on, bring it on. You cannot argue the fact that there's an asymmetric risk profile, that the ability for profit far outweighs what the potential loss is. Now, that's a judgment call to a certain. That's the art of investing. But on top of that, there's the whole insurance and the whole beauty thing. Think about that. If you buy a share of Ford Motor Company stock, well, congratulations. You can't even get the certificates anymore, I don't think, right? That's that whole great taking book. Everything's electronic. So what would you rather hold in your hand? A share of Ford Motor Company stock or an ounce of silver? Huh? I think I would take the beautiful silver over the Ford Motor Company, but that's still not the point. We got three big reasons, three big fundamental reasons. I'm dragging this out too long. I talk too much. I apologize, my fellow basement dwellers. But let's dive into the three big reasons, okay? Number one, the big foundational support for the silver price, especially where we are right now. Guys, it costs $20, $22, $23 per ounce for a mining company to get an ounce of silver out of the ground. That's a fact. You can look at the average numbers, all in sustaining costs, however you want to slice it or dice it, the results of the inflation that you and I dealt with. But guess what? The mining companies have dealt with it as well. Higher fuel prices, higher labor prices, higher everything prices, all the easy silver that's on the planet. And don't forget, that's another one of the great attributes to our friend silver. We forget about these things. There's only so much on the planet. That low-hanging fruit, the silver that was easy to get to, easy to mine, it has all been mined out, okay? And the mining companies, with this low price, you know the story. You know the story. The mining companies, there's no money in the silver mining sector right now, so there's no new money coming in, very little in exploration and development. There's a handful of development companies in the silver sector. Let's see if I can name a few. Suma Silver. Yes, I own them. No, they're not sponsoring this video. None of these companies are sponsoring, but I own Dolly Varden Silver. They own a bunch of silver up in British Columbia. I own some Silver Elephant. They are in, why is it? Peru. Capitan Silver in Mexico. These are just a handful of silver development companies, okay? There are a few big silver mining companies. Hecla is one of them. And as a matter of fact, that's a great opportunity for us to thank the king of the silver mining companies, the best, in my opinion, Fortuna Silver. Fortuna has two silver mines, one in Peru, one in Mexico, but they're diversified. They also have gold mines in Argentina, in Cote d'Ivoire, which is also known as the Ivory Coast of Africa, and Burkina Faso, and they have a huge new gold development project in Senegal, which is also in West Africa. West Africa is a fascinating mining jurisdiction. I knew nothing about it until a couple years ago, but nonetheless, this is about silver. Thank you, Fortuna. If you want to learn more about Fortuna Silver, which I highly recommend you do, at least learn about them. Not giving investment advice, but check out Fortuna at fortunasilver.com. Thank you, Tara. Wow, basement dwellers united. Basement dwellers, nice ladies and some good fellers. We are the basement dwellers. But it costs $20 to get the silver out of the ground. We'll use a round number. Do you think, right, if the price of silver goes to 15, 12, then there'd be no silver being produced? Okay, the silver miners can't find silver. There's no money. The whole darn silver mining sector is only worth $17 billion. That's like less than half of 1% of most of the S&P 500 companies. Some of these big companies like Apple and Microsoft and Amazon and everything else, it's incredible. Right? How small the silver market is. Thank you, Dink. Silver bugs. Yes, I'm a silver bug. I am. I admit it. You are too. I know it. Thank you, Denix. Wow, you guys have gone over the top. Gracious. What's the word I'm looking for? Generous with the super chats. I'm flustered. So thank you. So we aren't going to see the situation. If silver drops, then there'll be no supply. And we know the demand is going through the roof. Let's look at chart number 1 quickly. This is historical PV, photovoltaic installations, solar panels. Look, guys, look at this year or last year. I keep forgetting that's last year. That's 2023. Look at the explosion in solar panels. I was reading an article the other night about this new form of solar panel where it's like a film that they can put in that's flexible and all this stuff. And I forget, there was a weird name. And I'm like, uh-oh. I bet that doesn't use silver. So I Googled the name of that new technology plus silver, and sure enough, thank you, Justin, for the super chat. Thank you. Wow, you guys are super generous. I don't know what to say. Thank you. But even this new technology, this should blow you away. This is just number one, okay? The cost of silver. Thank you again, Justin. That the number of solar panels, just the number, remember that chart I just showed you, is going through the roof. Every solar panel uses silver, but it gets even better because the newer technologies in solar use more silver per panel. So that means this would be real simple math. Let's say the whole world only made 2 solar panels every year, and each solar panel used 1 ounce, okay? And then there was this big increase, like we saw in that chart, went to 4 solar panels. So remember, we started with 2 solar panels, 1 ounce each. Now we went to 4 solar panels, but they're using 2 ounces each. Very simple example, but that goes from using 2 ounces of silver to 8 ounces of silver. And that's this effect that we could see in the silver demand perspective because of solar. And that's nothing. There's new technology to use silver in hydrogen fuel cells, right? Toyota Motor Company, just the biggest car company in the world. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go down this rabbit hole talking about just the demand. We know it costs $20 to get an ounce of silver out of the ground. And the other thing, we always forget silver bugs, my friends. It's hard work. I've been to some mine sites now, not silver mines, but gold mines, same difference. This is hard work to get it out of the ground. Thank you, Metal Seer. The asymmetric risk logic is why I bought 20 Bitcoins when they sold for $5 each. Only if I hadn't lost my passcode. Yes. I'm sorry to hear that. You'll find that passcode, my friend. Yeah, asymmetric risk opportunities only present themselves so often. If you think that the thesis that I laid out earlier, right, that silver could go to $40 or $50 per ounce, we'll keep it low, right? Or it could go down. Worst case scenario, what, 15 an ounce? I mean, it is just hard to fathom. You're looking at, and even then, you're not losing. I still would believe, if silver goes to 15 an ounce, sign me up, baby. I'm going to back up whatever kind of truck. I will be selling everything in the basement, including the gold bear, to buy silver. So will everybody else. You won't be able to get it, right? There'll be $8 an ounce premiums. So it'll still cost $23. Anyway, that opportunity only presents itself so often, okay? So, guys, that's number one behind this whole situation with silver. The other thing is, look, it's simple mathematics that the value of the dollar is going to go down. No matter how you slice it, no matter how you dice it, the value of the dollar will continue to be diluted, okay? Where is it? I showed you this earlier today, and I'm just going to briefly pull it out. Oh, boy. So much for being prepared. Here it is. Right? This shows you 1964, they took silver out of our money. At that point, you could buy about 3 gallons of gasoline, okay, with $1, right? If you'd kept the silver quarters, this is how many gallons of gasoline. Today, it would buy you almost 7 gallons of gasoline versus 1/3 of 1 gallon down here with $1, right? That shows us what has happened just in the last 50 years. There's undeniable that we're in a situation in this country that we are going to see a lower and lower and lower and lower value in real terms of the US dollar. It is mathematically impossible for anything else to happen. That's just a fact. So you couple that with this idea that right now, foundation number one, Silver costs $20 an ounce to get out of the ground. And then on top of that, $1 that's going down and down and down in value. I was talking with Daniel Diaz earlier today. He talked about an example that Representative Bankson from Florida, 15th largest economy in the world, okay, working on passing legal tender legislation. But Governor Bankson has this great analogy of like the ocean and how there's waves on top of the ocean, right? And that's the value of silver and gold. But the level keeps going up and up. They print more and more. The value of the metals will ride out the waves. We'll go through some ups. We'll go through some downs. No doubt about it. I can't tell you that we're not going to have some ups and downs. But as the dollar becomes diluted more and more, now, Nick Timiraos from the Wall Street Journal. He's, what do they call him? Nicky Leaks, like WikiLeaks, but Nicky Leaks. He's known as being the mouthpiece for the Federal Reserve. He put out a piece that said the Fed, basically he's telegraphed, this is how the analysts are reading it, that the Fed is going to end quantitative tightening. There's all these crazy programs with the Fed, the repo program, the reverse repo program, the bank term funding program. Okay, there's all these new programs they have to come up with to deal with. Have you noticed that? All these crises that are coming up because of this crazy monetary money printing, monetary policy from the Fed, which quite frankly, the Fed partially has to do because of the crazy fiscal policy from our government. We could sit here and talk for hours about the reverse repo program, the bank term funding program, right? Bailouts by another term. But at the end of the day, the important thing to remember about all of this, monetary, smoke and mirrors, whatever that's going on, okay, there's one key thing to remember, that the crisis, the problems are insidious. They can paper over it, they can throw some paint on it, but the rust eats through. And these problems keep manifesting themselves. And when they do, the Fed has to react and do something. And it always has to do with a bailout. It always has to do with more liquidity, creating more money out of thin air, which they can do because the US dollar obviously is no longer tethered to any real metal, right? There's no more silver in our quarters. There's no more silver in our silver dollars. There's no more gold standard like we had up until 1971 when President Nixon temporarily took us off the gold standard. So the rust will continue to eat to the surface. And then Jerome will get out his spray gun and spray some magic Fed paint onto the rust. And, oh, look, everything's fine. Everything's fine. But you talk to anybody who works in a body shop, right? If you just spray paint over rust, it doesn't take long, even if you're using Rust-Oleum, for that rust to eat back through. And that's exactly the situation that we're in right now. It's like the old fun house. You and me, let's go on a trip, huh? Right? We're going to go to the county fair, and we show up and we buy our tickets, and they got the fun house. It's the Fed fun house. Everybody's lined up to go in. It's so much fun in there. There's all this smoke, all this mirrors. Everybody feels rich, right? You and I go to get in, and you know how security is these days. There's a metal detector. They don't let us in because we've got some silver in our pocket. They make us stay outside the Fed fun house. And we're like, hey, that's okay. We won't go in there. If that's the case, you can't bring silver into this place. We don't want to go in there. So we sit out. We watch all the people go in. Everybody's in the Fed. Jerome is running the Fed funhouse. It's all a mirage, right? There's those funny mirrors. There's smoke machines. He's the DJ. Everything's wonderful. We're sitting outside, right, with the other people who couldn't get in because they have silver and gold. We're underneath a nice, comfortable shade tree until a fire breaks out. And there's always problems in the Fed funhouse. Then everybody runs for the door, right? Everybody wakes up all at once. We know how that goes. And they're all looking like, we need to get silver. We need to get gold. And you and I, we already have our silver and gold. Thank you, Metal Seer. He says, He saw a 1955 ad on X for a modest but attractive 2-bedroom, 1-bath house with a carport and a screened porch on sale for $7,450. Yes, more examples of how paper money loses its value. Remember the chart I showed you earlier. If in 1964 you had 4 quarters, right, you had basically 0.715, I think it is, ounces of silver. There was silver in those quarters. If you held on to those quarters till today, right, they're worth like about $16 or so, right, because of the silver that's in them. You can buy yourself 5 gallons, 6 gallons of gasoline. If in 1964 you had the next year converted those quarters to the modern quarter made out of copper and nickel, you could buy yourself about a third of a gallon of gasoline. You know, so we got these 3 fundamentals, and we've covered 2 of them. Just the cost. The demand for silver is not going anywhere. We can talk for hours. AI chips, everything electronic, solar, electric cars, investor demand, right? That could be the real wild card, right? So the idea that the miners are going to provide more silver at $20, $25 an ounce they're not going to. They're not. The amount of silver coming out of the ground from the mining industry has actually gone down for the last 2 years. We'll get more updated 2023 data soon, but mine output is going down, down, down. Mexico, the world's biggest provider of silver, 30%, 1 in 3 ounces of silver that's produced every year comes from our friends in Mexico. The Mexican government is anti-mining. They've outlawed new strip mines. They've made it very difficult. They play all kinds of funny games. The Mexican government has made it difficult. The Mexican people, because of social union issues. We hear about mines being shut down by blockades, by mines being shut down because of strikes, right? That's the biggest producer of silver in the world. And then people say, well, no, 80% of the world's silver is a byproduct. I heard Ross Beatty himself, probably the legend among legends in the precious metals mining sector. He has said that this whole idea that so much silver is going to come from copper mining, byproduct. It's a byproduct. It's an afterthought. Here's the thing. All the easy copper has already been found. The new copper deposits oftentimes are much deeper, and they have less silver that coexist with the copper. All right. And even if you do want to use that argument, that silver it's a byproduct. Well, guess what? That argument doesn't hold, because if the price of silver shoots up, a copper mine isn't suddenly able to turn themselves into a silver mine. We got 100 thumbs up, man, you guys. Woohoo! Thank you very much. Let's ring the bell 10 times for the basement dwellers. Thank you, basement dwellers. This is our second live stream today. You guys are awesome. I can't believe this. 160 people at the drop of a hat at 5 p.m. on a Monday. Hey, don't forget Pimbex. They are also a channel sponsor, a very important channel sponsor, a company I worked with long before they've sponsored Ron's Basement. Online bullion dealer. If you want to find silver, gold, or platinum online in your shopping, do yourself a favor and put Pimbex into the mix, okay? Their prices are always ultra competitive. Their service is always the best, and they always have a good selection of metals available. I think Pimbex is best, Pimbex. I think that if you check them out, you'll agree with me. They check all the boxes. There's a big box from Pimbex. That's the Platinum Bear. Pimbex does check all the boxes. They can also help out with IRA conversions. Consider them, if you ever do yourself, consider converting an IRA into precious metals. I think you'll be glad you did, because you want to get more metal for your money. Thank you, Pimbex, for sponsoring Ron's Basement. Okay. So we've talked about, I've gone off on several tangents, so I apologize. But let's talk about the third key component that I think supports this silver price where it is right now. And this is true for gold as well. Okay, we talked about the simple math behind the mining. This is all simple math. In mathematics, one of our favorite sayings here in the basement, mathematics shows no forgiveness on the altar of truth. There's no way that more silver is going to be produced at the current price or any lower price. Actually, what would happen is a constriction in supply. There's no way that the US dollar, if we're going to measure the value of silver in US dollars, the US dollar is going to become more valuable in real terms. Okay. And I can prove that too. If you just look at the dollar index over the last 25 years, it's floated roughly around where it is now. Okay. All the currencies have gone down in value. Okay. Right. You know, your dollars buy less. There's no way that we're going to have a real, it's actually what we're facing is a real scary situation as we head into these next decades in terms of the real value of the US dollar. That's simple math number two, thanks to things like a $34 trillion national debt, right? Things like deficits that are running out of control. Number three, the world. We've never really had to consider that before, right? But the world situation, the world geopolitical situation that's unfolding right now, right in front of our very eyes. It's real, it's happening, the world is bifurcating, and the world wants a new value for the precious metals. Countries like Russia, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, all the BRICS nations and the BRICS Plus, they want a new price discovery mechanism for the metals, for all the commodities for that matter, because they're made, I mean, Vladimir Putin said it himself, like, it's like make-believe fantasy world, dealing with these fiat dollars, the money printing, everything, all the debt, all the quadrillions of derivatives. They are calling us out, and they do control a lion's share of the world's real natural resources. So when I look at this from a big picture perspective, can silver really go much lower than where it is right now? It just feels impossible, but I could be absolutely wrong. But it feels like, what's the worst that could happen with silver? It could go down, worst case scenario, maybe temporarily $5 or $6 per ounce, worst case scenario. But the equivalent best case scenario could be like a doubling or a tripling or maybe even more of the silver price. To me, it feels like a very good bet. It feels like a situation that I could survive the worst case scenario, but if the best case scenario plays out, that it could be a very, very fun, interesting, and safe. That's why, right, we're basement dwellers. Really, I think one thing I've gathered about you, one thing I've learned about you, okay, besides the fact that you're smart and nice and caring and a lot of really great things, is also that you want to be safe. You want to provide safety and security. You got to look out for yourself first, but then right there with that is your family, your loved ones. Right? You might be like me, like I think about my kids. Whatever moves I make, whatever metals, right? I think about the fact that I want that for my kids, for generations to come. I don't really honestly buy silver thinking, oh, I'm going to sell it in a year and make a profit. I mean, I really don't. When I buy any type of metal and bring it to my storage facility, I think I want to hold this forever. I don't ever want to sell it. I'm hoping do you feel that way? Like you have children or grandchildren that someday will appreciate it and hold on to it? I mean, it's just a really, really awesome item in many ways. And gosh, think about it. It's been that for thousands of years. If your great, you had one, so did I, great grandma, right? Maybe there were more lady stackers back then. or grandpa had thought that way, you could be sitting on a huge stack of silver right now. Correct? Correct, right? We all could be. Now, if you want to get your hands on some free silver, I want to tell you, we're having a giveaway on Valentine's Day. I wore the red shirt. The big Valentine's Day giveaway, giving away 23 ounces of silver. Let me grab the tray. I have it on a tray that accidentally left a Wendy's, I think it was, or somewhere like that. Hold on one second. I got this tray at a garage sale. Just joking around. Can you see that? Oh yeah, you can see. Whoa, no, darn it. Uh-oh. Sorry, that was. Well, look at all this silver. It's hard for me to keep it on this tray. Hold on. All this silver. Hold on. There we go. Hey, we do the best we can here in the basement. All this silver could be yours on Valentine's Day. Look at it shining in the light. Isn't it beautiful? 4-ounce bars, 2 pieces of constitutional silver from Coin Shop Chris. We have 5. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Jim's like, I thought I gave you 5. Jim M gave us 5 Nadir silver bars in this 10-ounce. Beautiful. They're all beautiful. These are 2 4-ounce bars from our friend Jim B. I'm sorry. Too many names in my mind. All this can be yours. There's a link in the description of this and every video where it says Valentine's giveaway, and you click on that link and it'll tell you how to enter the giveaway. We aren't collecting any personal information, but it's real easy. All you got to do is go to the giveaway video and type the comment, "Thanks, Pembex." Okay? Pembex gave us this. I show it to you guys all the time. Let's take a look at a couple of these products that are going to be in the giveaway. It's a 10-ounce Geiger silver bar. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that thing. Really, really beautiful. And then we have 5 of these Nadir from the Nadir Metal Refinery. And these are unique because the serial numbers on the 5 Nadir bars are sequential. Okay? So you're going to get 5 Nadir bars, 2 4-ounce bars. It's going to be 23 ounces altogether. Let's talk about quickly. How about an update? Update. Gold price. Gold was trading today. Right now, it's at $2,053 per ounce, which I think that may have reset. I think gold may have actually gone up today. Let's see how silver's doing. Silver, I have a feeling, is going to be down 8 cents. See if I'm right. Silver's down 6 cents. Still, $23.14. Yeah, 23.09. Looks like it was high as 23.40 today. What? That's interesting. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for joining us, guys. Have a great evening. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you to the moderators for being here today. Type 8 if you don't mind. If I can get down there, I'm going to do it. Put my money where my mouth is. Our moderators are great. So type 8 for the moderators, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.